vehicle pre-count operations will start on my mark at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, traders? Hope everybody had a great day. It is Tuesday, August 22nd, and we'll be doing an analysis of the S&P 500, the Spider ETF. We'll look at the macro as well as formulating a daily plan for tomorrow, some areas where we may want to engage the market and manage our risk. But with that being said, remember that this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and in no way should be viewed as financial advice. So let's get into it here. First of all, I wanted to say thank you all to the loyal subscribers that take the time to prepare for the markets with me. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already and you're enjoying the content, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button. I would really appreciate it, and it means a ton to me as well. All right, so we're starting off with the macro chart. As always, we're going to be looking here at the daily, and markets were pretty quiet today. We were a bit red, closing down 0.27%. Markets were down about $1.19. Final print coming in at 438.15. And tomorrow, of course, we do have NVIDIA earnings after the bell. So, today we did see, a bit of a downtrend pretty much all day, but a lot of the day really was more or less choppy. And there could be some hesitation in the markets waiting with earnings from that big semiconductor name. But we do have Jackson Hole starting at the end of the week as well. So those are two kind of major things that could be playing into the current price delivery. Okay. So we are still trading here below the daily 920 and 50 respectively. The one thing I will say is that the 9 and the 50 on the daily are kind of lining up here. They're both sitting right around 441, give or take 441.30. So they are kind of getting a little bit closer together, which is interesting to see. But you can see today, though, when we did open up, we opened up basically right at that daily 9, right at that 441 area, and we were rejected right there, and then we just continued to sell off pretty much in the morning and then consolidated towards the, in the later half of the day. We are still watching these oversold conditions in the market here, and we're starting to see a slight momentum shift, and this is what we were kind of trying to watch out for, this little bit of momentum starting to come into the market here, which I think is a little encouraging for some potential short-term upside in the markets. Another thing worth noting is we're not quite there yet. I have to exactly find out the date, but Apple is also releasing and having an event for its new iPhone 15, which we may see Apple start to get catch a bit of a bid coming into that event. Now, usually those are kind of run up, sell the news type of events, and I may take a swing trade on Apple, but no position yet on there, but something that I have been considering, just waiting for the right moment if it presents itself. However, the other thing I think that we could make a case for here, and again, not one of my favorite patterns, because of course necklines have to be broken for this pattern to certainly be validated, but I could make a case for a little inverted head and shoulders here, potentially coming in on the daily, right? Shoulder here, head and shoulder. So we'll have to see about that neckline potentially breaking, which could give us a nice move in my short-term bullish target right now is going to be right around that 444. I think that that's a reasonable place that we could see a back test right here, and that is also where I may consider entering a new swing position short into mid-September, until the end of September. So I'll be watching that as well. But if we do start to break this neckline, bigger picture, then we could see a nice move and get that that.
60-time explosion.
So we'll see about that. All right, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over here on this chart. Let's take a look at one more macro chart, and then we'll get into our daily plan for tomorrow. All right, so let's take a look at some trend lines here that we have been watching. Okay, and you can see today that we... Oh, can I get a zoom? Okay, I'll just do it this way. But today we pretty much can see we hit this pivot that we have been watching, and that again was in that 141 area here. Looked above, hit that 9, came back down into this pivot, and then we just traded back up. So real back and forth action today in between these two key pivots in the market, and we may continue to see that into tomorrow. But you can see that this pretty much is that neckline and what we would need to break for higher prices. So let's see if we can start to get some daily closes over this 141. I think that would be the most encouraging thing for the bulls, for that opportunity to potentially come back and and back test this key area of that prior breakout that really caused the big breakout that we had into July, all the way up here. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I needed to go over on this page. Let's just take a quick peek at our fibs here on the bigger picture, and we did actually close just above that 38.2 extension, or excuse me, retracement. So we'll be watching to see if that 438 is able to hold. Besides, that's the first step for the bulls. But the next main step, of course, is going to be getting some closes, as I said, over that daily 9, and then we can potentially get up to that 20 at that 444. So that's what I'll be looking for in the short term. All right, let's start to look at some fibs really quick, and for our day trading perspective. But actually, before we do that, another thing I wanted to show you, two things. One of which is, now we had this downtrend forming. Let me zoom out here. Let me see if 20 days is enough. Okay, so we had this downtrend, right? And we came up, back tested it, and now it looks like we're starting to close over it. Now, it also kind of just depends. Now, there's another way. You could, in theory, I'm more of a wick guy. Some people are more body guys. There's a joke in there probably somewhere to be made, but I will not make it. But take your preference on what you like. But, we can make this a little bit of a zone. I think that this is valid here, using the wicks and the bodies, depending on, like I said, what you like. But we are starting to recapture, right, this downtrend. I think that is encouraging for the bulls, at least in the short term. If we had come up, back tested this, and then come back down, that would not be so productive for the bulls. But Just the fact that we have kind of recaptured it. Now, where the hell's my other point of contact here? I'm not going to mess with it. But I think that this is a bit encouraging for the bulls that we're starting to get back over this downtrend line. So that is good. All right, the other thing that I wanted to point out was, and we kind of went over this in yesterday's plan, looking at the potential higher lows that we have been putting in on in the short term. And take a peek right here. Here's the uptrend channel that we have been trading in, and we talked about this. I thought we might come down a little bit lower to that 437. However, we did not. But as you can see, we have a clear uptrend channel right now that we are trading in. So we want to make sure that basically, definitely last stop 437 as we went over, but 437.50, we'll be watching for this area here to hold. Otherwise, we will have a break in the market structure and a change of character. So let's see if this uptrend channel can be sustained for the next few days. And that will potentially, like I said, lead us back up into this 444 area. So let's see how this pans out. We do have this 10-day hourly POC sitting up here at 445. So even that 444, we could potentially get a little bit over, come and retest this POC. That wouldn't surprise me either. And then maybe a look above and fail. Certainly another idea as far as a potential target or an area where I might consider a possible another swing short. So let's watch this channel and see how it develops. But if we start to break, like I said, then we'll be changing this whole market structure and probably see more downside coming in. All right, so let's get into the fibs really quickly, and we'll close it out looking at our balance zones and then closing it out for the rest of the night. All right, so really what the bulls need to see here, and we're starting to see it here in evening trading, but we need to have this recapture of this 38.2, right? Above 439 basically is what we want to see hold for the bulls for that chance to push back up into the 441 area. And as we were talking about earlier, this 441 zone here is that daily 9, and the daily 50 is sitting pretty much where we stopped right up in here this morning. So let's see if they can hold this overnight. I might take an overnight on futures. I have not decided yet, but I'll wait a little bit longer for an extra confirmation on that. But certainly back over the 50% retracement's going to give us an opportunity to trade back into the high 442s, maybe even 443, and then over that we've got that big 444. But let's keep an eye. Really, again, wouldn't be shocked even a way that I might play the short is take a starter at the 444 and then look to add if we come up into 445 up at this 786. So another kind of way to possibly trade it or look at that idea. So all right, let's get into some of our balance levels and areas. Now here again, this is our uptrend channel that we have been watching, and I really want to see the top of this balance hold up, and as long as that top of this balance really holds up, really 438, as you can see, we did tap that whole number a couple of times today, and we did see some tries at the markets catching a bid into the close, and now kind of making a bit of a fish hook, a bit of a J pattern here. But you can also see right where we stopped, and we did talk about this idea. Again, this is probably better for futures. I don't take options right at the bell, but we were also talking about this in yesterday's daily plan. The shorts coming up into that back testing the range here at the balance zone, and boom, we came straight down right back into the top of this balance. But you can see the price action pretty miserable. I mean, it traded, you know, $3, $2. You know, it's kind of pretty slow today with not much going on. But let's see. Certainly, I like us holding over 439. That's good. I would like us even better to be holding over 440. Whole number psychological. That would be a bit better. But as long as we hold here and pretty much over 438, 438.35, I think we still have a chance to make a run back up and potentially trade back into this previous balance area. So what the bulls really want to see is, and you know, back over this 440, we'll call it anywhere from 442 to 441.38. We want to see that hold, and that will give us the opportunity to come to trade into the 442.75, 443 area. We start to break and hold over that, and then we'll come back into those 444s as I mentioned before. Starting to get over that 444, then we'll be looking for higher prices into the 445, 445.50, which is going to line up here with our POC here on the 10-day hourly. So those are some upside targets that we'll be looking at. Now let's talk about for the bears. Say we start to really break below and confirm under this 438. Okay, you know, for me, okay, it's tough because I really wouldn't necessarily take that short under 438. I might personally be more interested in waiting for the 437, this half gap of this balance, to be broken for potential moves back down into the 435s. But you could, in essence, you could take this trade as well, with that first target being the 437. If we start to break back below this balance, we come back up and retest. You can see here, gave a couple of opportunities. They weren't really the best trades, but you can see once we broke back below this balance, we came up, retested. You could short it back down for a scalp, right? This one didn't work, obviously, but there is that trade idea as well. So say we break this trend line, we come back down, come back, retest, or even we come back down, retest, and then we come back and back test this our trend line here of the trend line channel. That's another short idea, and boom, you could potentially short it and start to look for covers depending on when we get there. You know, be dicey here. I probably, you know, would look to take some off in the, you know, the 438, low 438s, but really ultimately the target would be 437, and then like I said, under that is going to be 435 area. So that's what I'll be looking for the shorts, and then if that starts to break, we'll be looking down into the 434, 433.85 area once again. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over. Again, thank you so much for joining me on these daily plans. Remember, a prepared trader is a profitable trader, and remember to plan your trades, trade your plan. I will see you guys on the other side, and good luck tomorrow in the markets. All right, take care.